Hey everyone, this is A-Rock coming to you from Canine Wizard TV, presented by Olive Branch Canine. Welcome to episode 1 of Project Lola. So in this episode, we're going to be talking about some different methods that you can do when you start feeding your dog. A very useful training tool that you can do using markers and using the environment, distractions, and things that would typically not be conventional with your pet, but will often help when developing a working dog. So I want to premise this with this. She's only 8 weeks old, but there's still a lot of things that she can do and we can do to expose her to environment and help her with her development. So she doesn't have, her cognitive function is still developing. She's still getting physically strong. Every day we see her pouncing and doing things. She's growing, she's getting big. So that's helpful. It's never too early to start introducing different things as long as you're able to reward and stimulate her physically, because that at this point is probably the best thing you can do, because puppies crave physical interaction and contact. So again, for this episode, we're going to be talking about doing some things environmentally to develop a working dog eventually, or a candidate, and also for pet owners out there.
All right, folks, so before we get started, we want to talk about our venue setup and equipment. So you're going to need, for both exercises, you're going to need a metal food bowl, a small one for a smaller puppy. Size doesn't matter, just as long as it's a metal food bowl. A food pouch or a treat pouch to dispense your food and to make sure you keep control of your food and prevent it from spilling on the ground. And then also you're going to see, as we go into the environmental stuff, you're going to need a little bit of imagination. So let's go ahead and get started with our first exercise. For this first exercise, we're going to just restrain the puppy, and then we're going to mark with a release marker with the OK, and let her get to her kibble. So I'll do a few reps of this. It's actually a good habit to get into as you start to introduce markers, and then obviously for your release marker of the OK marker. So I'll do it again, but this time I'm going to put her into a sit. I'm going to wait till she stops presenting pressure on her chest, and then I'll release her with the OK marker, and I'll stimulate her. So pretty easy exercise. All right, so moving on to our next exercise, what I'm trying to present to the puppy is a slightly precarious and unfamiliar environment during feeding time. So I'm using an angled board inside of a shipping crate and this nice little Tupperware or Sterilite container at the end, at the beginning there to get her in. So to this point, she has been receiving food. I've been intentionally allowing her to hear the ping in the metal feeding pan during mealtime. So I've used that to bait her here for her first repetitions, to get her to negotiate this area. So again, you're limited to your imagination. You could put LED lights on the inside of a confined space like this, changing the angle as she gains, your pet, your dog, your puppy gains confidence in negotiating this little area. So at the end of the day, we're encouraging her to work to get her meal. So here's a slightly different look. You can see the angle of the board. Again, nothing too challenging, nothing out of the expectation that she can't handle at this point. Just giving her exposure and using the food to pull her over to negotiate these little obstacles. You can see her, she's building her agility, she's getting feedback and interaction, and engaging me, and very interested in the process. So it's good, and I'm stimulating her. I'm not giving any conflict at this point. All right, so as we close out this episode, let's go ahead and revisit some of the things we discussed. So we introduced the marker, and we presented the marker for your pet during feeding time with the metal bowl, which is a great method to start introducing markers with the OK release. And then we moved on to some environmental stuff. So with the environmental stuff, again, keep those repetitions short, and as your dog gains confidence in in negotiating those small little obstacles. You don't be afraid to increase the complexity, just as long as your dog is getting the dietary intake that it needs. For the day. You can use that to pull. You can use the food to pull them into some of those areas where maybe make them slightly uncomfortable, but they're going to work through it, and you're going to see that confidence increase, their agility increase, and their ability to handle those precarious situations that may be presented to them as they start maturing. Their cognitive level improves, and their body function improves. You're going to see the benefits of that later on. Again, this is A-Rod coming to you from Canine Wizard TV and presented by Olive Branch Canine. We look forward to presenting more material to you on Project Lola. God bless.